Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this week's whole food plant-based on a budget meal prep. And today I want to show you what I am doing with some leftover bread that needs to get repurposed into some breadcrumbs. And since it is November now, I'm also going to make some whole food plant-based stuffing. We bought this bread last weekend and it was already marked down. And then we didn't eat very many slices of it, so we definitely need to get this used up. This is not an oil-free bread. There is the ingredients, but because it is this everything flavor, I think this will be super good to make into stuffing. And in addition to stuffing, I'm also going to make a baked mac and cheese and peas today. And I'm gonna use some of this bread to make a breadcrumb topping. So the first thing to do is to cube up this bread and get it toasting in the Ninja. I usually do about 15 minutes or so, and that's usually good enough for my stuffing. I don't remember making stuffing last year at Thanksgiving time. So I'm trying to remember if this recipe that I have on my YouTube channel is from Dr. McDougall or where I found that. Either way, that's the recipe I am going for today. I filmed a grocery haul this morning, got some deals, one of them being on these sliced baby bellas. So I'm going to use those in my stuffing, and I need to get my celery diced up. Let's start with the bread and then I'll get the veggies going on the stove. So I am going to do this entire loaf. Doesn't need to be super pretty. It's gonna mostly be stuffing or blended into breadcrumbs. Maybe if I made shorter stacks of bread, it would be better. Just trying to be efficient. Okay, there we go. This is a lot of bread. This is so much more than I was anticipating. New plan, we're gonna do this in 2 batches. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Now I gotta clean up this big mess. I'm gonna go put these in the Ninja for 15 minutes. Be right back. All right, the Ninja just beeped. Let's see if this first round of bread cubes looks good after 15 minutes. Oh, wow. Yeah, I will say these are definitely done. Look how brown those ones in the back got. It always seems to cook a little bit more in the back versus the front. You can kind of see. So these are definitely good. Let's set these aside. That was 15 minutes on 350. Those look like they would be really good croutons too. Okay, let's get our second batch going. All right, so here's second round of the cubes. I also forgot to mention that I am going to make a dessert today. Last week I made a sweet potato pumpkin pie, and this is what's left over of the filling that I put in there. And no, you didn't miss a recipe video. I did this in my monthly membership. We did this in our meal prep. Let me show you, there's one piece left. There's kind of a side view. This was the last piece in the pan, so I did scrape all of like the crumbs of the crust and put that on top there. You kind of get the gist. Oh, it was so good and oil-free. So I think if I mix the rest of this pumpkin pie filling up with some oats, maybe some raisins, make some cookies, I think that sounds delicious. But let's get the stuffing vegetables going here while those other breadcrumbs are cooking. And then I also need to get my noodles going on the stove for my baked mac and cheese. My stuffing recipe says 1 cup of celery. I was just maybe a little bit short of a cup, but we tried. And then my 8-ounce pack of mushrooms. Let me double check my recipe. Cook veggies and spices in veggie broth until veggies are tender. Okay, and then mix with the breadcrumbs and cook. Okay, so I need some onion diced as well. And we're back on track. 1 onion diced. I actually don't have any veggie broth, so I am just going to do some water. And while these get going, I'm going to get my elbow noodles cooking. We'll get the water for the elbow noodles going. And now let's blend up potato cheese. I think I did a good ratio of potatoes to water. So hopefully I don't need to dump out any water or potatoes. Ooh, these potatoes got extra cooked today. They're so mushy. They have been sitting. They have been sitting in the Instant Pot for a while. I may actually need to add a little bit of water. We'll see how that does blending it up. Let's add some spices. Nutritional yeast, must have. Anywhere between 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup. Kind of depends how big my batch looks. That was probably only about 1/4 cup. We can always add more spices. We can't take them away. Lesson learned with salt. So I'm just going to do 2 teaspoons of salt to start. A lot of times I do like 2 heaping teaspoons when it's a super big batch. I'd rather go a little less and add a little bit more. Garlic powder and onion powder, but I am currently out of onion powder. Pepper, I just happen to have this white pepper, and I like it that it doesn't put the big black specks in the cheese. I just think it looks better. Liquid smoke has become a must-have for me. I love the smoky, a subtle smokiness to my potato cheese. That might not have been so subtle. That looked a little heavy-handed on that pour. Oh. And then some jalapeno juice for some vinegar, acidity. And I'm gonna add a few of these like pickled carrots that are in my bottom of my jalapeno jar. There's actually onions in there too, because I didn't do a lot of carrots in this batch because I had to peel them and I was getting sick of peeling vegetables. To be perfectly honest. Let's blend this up and give it a taste test. But before we do, let's quickly check on these vegetables. I can feel them heating up behind me. Oh, those look beautiful. I'm gonna turn them down. I'm gonna turn them down a little bit. Okay. Here comes the cheese. I can tell when it's not blending super well like that, how it's getting kind of chunky. Can you see that? Like all those potatoes up at the top. Probably needs a little bit more water. Or just a little push down. First I'm gonna try pushing it, scraping the sides. It feels like it's thinner. It doesn't feel super thick underneath there. All right, let's see if that helps it out. And the other batch of breadcrumbs just beeped. So I'm gonna go grab those. All right, it's all coming together. Let's give this a taste test, and then it should be time to add my noodles. Awkwardly stirring with my left hand. The texture looks great, that was the point. Really, really good. I'm glad I put that extra splash of jalapeno in there. I really like it. I think it actually does need a little bit more salt. I'm going to do just 1 teaspoon more of salt. Is a teaspoon even too much? Maybe I'll do a little less than a teaspoon. 2/3 of a teaspoon. All right, quick blend of that. And I think I'm gonna do this whole 1-pound bag of elbow noodles. Let's see if it all fits. It fits. I think the stuffing veggies might be done also. Very tender. I need to add my seasonings to these. So I'm gonna shut those off for a second. Give this a final taste test. I did clean my spatula. Darn near perfect, I would say. That does not fit under there. Potato cheese is good until the elbow noodles are done. What I need is a place to mix up all of my stuffing pieces of bread and those veggies after I get the veggies seasoned. I'm thinking I'm just gonna give my Instant Pot a really quick rinse and I'll mix it all up in here and then put it in the pan to bake. Now I'm gonna separate out some of these pieces of bread to make into breadcrumbs. Last time I did this, I could not believe how easy it is. Crisp up your bread, chop it up in your blender. Why do we ever purchase breadcrumbs? So since I started doing this, I have been way less scared about buying bread and it going bad or it needing to freeze or anything like that. Just make some breadcrumbs or some croutons or this stuffing recipe. So there is what's going to become breadcrumbs. Actually, I don't know if that's enough. Maybe I want to do a whole cup full of them. Yeah, we'll do a whole blender full of them. That will still leave plenty for stuffing. I'm gonna set this aside. I mentioned I didn't make my stuffing recipe last year, so I'm looking at all of this broth in here going, this soaks into the bread, right? That's part of what's going on. Like, reminding myself. All right, so seasoning for this is super simple. I just do soy sauce, pepper, poultry seasoning. I see in my recipe, I also said black garlic powder. Man, I miss that stuff. That stuff was so good. My sister has something similar. Let me show you. Ooh, I think these noodles are just about done too. One more minute on the noodles. This is the black garlic seasoning my sister has from Trader Joe's. So this is different than the stuff I had that was McCormick and was like a powder. This is much more, it's much chunkier. Can you tell? See, it's not a powder. So I'm going to do just a sprinkle of that because I do love that umami flavor. And then my recipe says a tablespoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons poultry, 1 to 2 tablespoons soy sauce. Today we're measuring with heart. Whoa, okay, let's turn the noodles off. Did I say that 1 second before the timer went off? And my poultry seasoning. It's creating a lot of poultry dust. And then some soy sauce. Oh, it's smelling like stuffing. That bread absorbed all that liquid. I need more liquid. I'm gonna give this pan a little rinse out. How much more do I need? We'll do all that. This looks dry. What do I do? Do I add more water? Just a little bit more water. That looks better. All right. Hope this turns out. Let's see if we can fit it in this pan. I think I can do it. I think I can make it fit. If I squish it down. Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, this is actually looking really delicious. Really, really delicious, in fact. Yay. Like, that looks good. I'm not just tooting my own horn. That actually looks good. All right, I'm gonna cook this for 30 minutes at 350. I'm not sure in my mac and cheese video if I rinsed off my noodles or not, but my new technique is just to dump these out in the colander, not rinse them out underwater. So without rinsing my noodles, I'm just gonna put them right back. Oh, it's getting heavy. I think that leaving some of that starchy water on the noodles helps the potato cheese stick to it rather than rinsing them. So that's been my strategy lately. This looks really full. Am I gonna be able to fit my cheese and my peas in here? We're gonna find out. Just kidding. There's no way that's all gonna fit in there. We're just gonna go ahead and use the Instant Pot again for mixing up elbows, peas. And these peas are frozen, but that's okay because we're going to bake the mac and cheese. So if I mix my peas and elbows, see how my ratio looks good. Let's add the cheese. I think that ratio looks pretty darn good. Maybe a tiny bit more cheese. Now hopefully I can sneak a couple of these baby bread loaf pans on the side of my stuffing so it can all cook at the same time. So to make these breadcrumbs, I'm just taking that crispy bread, giving it a couple pulses in here. Let's see how many it needs. That was one. 2 pulses turns them to dust. Look at that. I could have even done this if I just would have done the 1 pulse and maybe they wouldn't have ended up this fine, but I think it looks great and it smells really good too. A bit of that everything flavor. Yum. These look so good. So only 2 mac and cheese fit in with the stuffing, but I'll take the stuffing out in like 3 minutes. And then I'll put the other mac and cheese in, and I need to get my cookies formulated. All right, quick timeout, quick little cleanup, and then we'll get our cookies put together. So I know my stuffing recipe said 30 to 45 minutes. That's a big variation. So here's my stuffing after 30 minutes. I think it looks delicious. It's not juicy because it was not juicy to begin with. So I don't want to like overcook it and make it too dry. It smells really good. Like really, really good. So I'm gonna put my other mac and cheese in now since those first 2 only cooked for like 3 minutes. I'll do those at 350 for 15 minutes as well and check them. That gives me 15 minutes to get my cookies mixed together. Don't even get me started on putting all this away. Let's focus on getting the cookies mixed. So I mentioned I made this pie filling last week in my monthly membership meal prep. It was sweet potatoes, pumpkins, and then like pumpkin pie spice and vanilla. I think that was all the major seasonings. If it wasn't an original recipe of mine, it was something I Googled. First, I looked at Dr. McDougall's website. He has got a lot of really good desserts on there, and I think he had at least 4 that had pumpkin in it. But if I remember correctly, a lot of his recipes called for dates, and I didn't happen to have dates. I found this recipe, and I had all the ingredients at home. And specifically the crust of this I thought was pretty unique because it just had like oat flour and peanut butter. I don't know, I was very impressed with this recipe. But now I need to do something with the rest of this filling because it's gonna be a week old tomorrow, and yeah, we want to eat it because it was delicious. So I do a couple different things. I do a baked oatmeal, which is essentially half oats, half whatever fruit kind of filling you want to do your flavor. And I do like the exact same thing to make cookies. Typically when I do the cookies, I do banana, but I think this will be really good. So let me go grab my oats. And for raisins, I have these golden raisins. I like these a lot. Side note, if you put your raisins in a jar, so much fresher for so much longer. Just things you don't think about. And then when you do, you're like, duh. So I have my oats, and I actually have a little bit of oat flour left from when I made that pie last week. Let's start with just a half and half oats to pumpkin ratio. My pumpkin is basically up to the 1 cup line in this jar. Can I just mix it right in the jar? Less dishes, please. Maybe do a little less than a cup of oats to start, just to see how it mixes together. That was my other idea. If I wasn't going to make cookies, I was going to make overnight oats. Just like this, just mixing it with oats. But cookies sound way more fun. Can definitely use some more oats. I'm gonna do a sprinkle of the oat flour too to help thicken it up. I like that. I like the way the flour thickens it up. I'm gonna do the rest of the flour. With the oat flour mixed in, it's looking a little bit more like cookie dough. I'm thinking just a tiny bit more oats, make it a little bit thicker. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A few more oats, I think gave it the cookie dough consistency I'm looking for. Look at that. Yes, that's it. 4 minutes on mac and cheese. So hopefully that's enough time to drop these cookies on some parchment paper, and then I can take the mac and cheese pans out and just put the parchment paper on the Ninja sheet. That's the plan. I forgot to put the raisins in the cookies. This is my life. Okay. Don't forget the raisins. The raisins make it delicious. Okay, those ones might be really big. Let's try for smaller. They got big again. All right, little guy. Can I scoot this one over? Scoot over. These are some of the most uneven cookies I've ever made. They're not supposed to be pretty, they're supposed to be delicious. Ninja just beeped. Let's check on this mac and cheese. Yum! Look at this. Look at that gorgeous little brown it gets on the breadcrumb topping. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. It smells so good. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Dishes are getting out of control. I'm gonna pull the mac and cheese out and then attempt to put the cookies just right. Let's think about this. With the help of my cutting board. All right. we can safely transfer them. That worked like a charm. Awesome. All right, same thing, 350 for 15 minutes, and then we'll check the cookies, and then hopefully meal prep's done, because I'm getting tired. Pumpkin pie cookies after 15 minutes. I don't even need to do a taste test to tell you these are gonna be amazing. Oh my gosh, they smell like pumpkin pie. What would you do for like a little vegan frosting, like to make them more like pumpkin pie with whipped cream? If I wanted to do these again for Thanksgiving, I'm thinking coconut whipped cream, but something thicker for the cookies. I live next door to dogs now. This meal prep definitely took way longer than I thought it was going to. I think it's been about 2.5 hours, but I have so much food now for the week, and since I'm not just feeding myself, it's okay to have a lot of food for the week. We have 3 things of mac and cheese and peas, and these are all 4-cup containers, so that's a lot of meals. 3 pans of baked mac and cheese. These should be cool enough to touch now, yeah. 3 of the little baked ones. My stuffing, I should take a bite of this and see how it turned out. I don't think this is my favorite by itself. I think it needs mashed potatoes and gravy. Let's try just a little sample. There, I got a mushroom and a celery and some bread. Yum! I forgot how much I love stuffing. This is really good. It does need mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, I couldn't just sit down and eat it by itself, but McDougall gravy was tentatively on the menu today, and then things just got a little out of control. But I do need to make some mashed potatoes, or maybe pour some potato cheese on top of the stuffing. That does not sound bad at all. Was that Penny? Anyway, another 2 cups of potato cheese for the week. And then my cookies. Yum. They smell so good. The pumpkin pie was amazing. I think I ate most of that by myself. I have no doubt these are going to be amazing, but I don't really want to eat a whole one right now. I'll either try it later on camera, or I will be sure to leave a comment below and let you know how awesome it was. I was thinking if I had dried cranberries, that would really go with the Thanksgiving theme and would be good in the pumpkin cookies too. I have a lot of ideas this Thanksgiving season. So that will wrap up this week's meal prep. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, be well. Ted and Penny, say hi. Hey, this is our new room. Hey, pretty girl. And Teddy. Oh, my babes. I love you guys. Okay, bye. Check out the grocery haul video I filmed earlier this morning. See what's ready for stuffing and see if I'm any... Let's see if these crumbs are done at... Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice I made this bread. Oh my gosh, Elisha. And I think I'm going to do this whole... Okay. Oops. Which direction do I go? My recipe does not... Oh. I might have put... I'm not sure. Anyway. I forgot to turn my lights back on. I'm such a fool. Oops. So... Why is that so crooked? And then it's gonna be cookie time. That's the one for me. Cut all that. Okay, try that again, E. Cut that last line. So I think the mac and cheese, I'm gonna put, all right, same thing, 15 minutes for 350. Coconut whipped cream is something I've been thinking about. Coconut whipped cream for the pumpkin sweet. I've been thinking about coconut. I really don't know if this is, don't forget to, I'm tired.